really trying to hammer down on whatever it is that you've done, whatever you've accomplished. Now, the problem is sometimes those accusations are true. We can't forget that. Sometimes there's a good reason that somebody's being accused of something. Somebody's saying that JB is saying there's an echo. Is there an echo, JB? Is anybody else hearing an echo, or y'all just hearing me? If you're hearing an echo, I can actually use a microphone or something. In fact, maybe I can do that. Maybe I'm sure I got some kind of shenanigans. While I look for my microphone, do me a favor. If you're on social media or anywhere else, take 1 second and do the world a favor and hit the share button. Share this with your your social media, your Twitter, your Facebook, to your grandma's Instagram, whatever it is, wherever you want to share it to. I'm gonna try to see if I can't use the microphone. So I hear people saying there's an echo. Okay. Then what I'm gonna do is restart the feed on the Facebook page, so you guys can hear me without an echo. I have to just turn everything off though on the Facebook page. Those of you who are on Twitter, just give me half a second. Please don't forget also, while you're waiting, 2 things you could do. 1, please share this to your social media, but also you can go get a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, by going to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna reset this thing. I'm gonna tell you that this technology stuff is kind of flaky and crazy, and sometimes you run into little issues, but that's okay. We shall overcome. Black people, we can do anything, and I know that I can master this technology. So so if you have a second, go to drboycewatkins.net. And you can download the free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. This is a book that I've been giving away for a little bit because I want you to read it. Not because I want you to read it more than I want to sell it. I want you to read it more than I want to sell it, because it is my belief that there are basic principles, basic ideas in our community that we can implement that will be game changers for our people, game changers for our community. That will not just help us achieve equality, but might actually help us achieve what some would consider to be a very threatening degree of superiority. Not to the point that we're a superior species or something like that, but really more so to the point that we are winning. We are winning, and not winning in a Charlie Sheen kind of way, but winning in a Boyce Watkins kind of way. Right now, if you want to just be real, we ain't really winning. We're kind of hanging in there, but we ain't really winning. So give me 1 second here. Okay, I wanted to make sure my homies on Facebook get a chance to recapture this feed. So, okay, so what I wanted to kind of jump into was I wanted to talk about this thing with Nate Parker and his rape case. That they grabbed from the 1990s. It literally went back to 1999 to pull up this charge. It was an allegation. It wasn't proven. It at least not beyond a reasonable doubt. It was disturbing to hear the story. I don't really know exactly what to say about it. Only other than, or at least I have other things to say. But in terms of what happened and whether or not I know he's guilty or innocent. I never, ever try to assume that I know whether or not somebody got raped or not. I don't care if you're my best buddy and I've known you 50 years. I ain't never had sex with you. Now, if you're a woman, things happen. But if you're a guy, the answer is definitely no. And I don't know. I don't know what you like in the bedroom. I don't pretend to know. I don't pretend that, that I can tell you what it's like to have sex with some of my best friends. I don't know. Like, that's the problem. I think sometimes when people are accused of sexual assault, you'll have people that will say, "Oh, I know that he would never do that. He would never do that." And the truth is that if you weren't there, you really don't know. Now, here's the obvious flip side to that. Sexual assault is a very serious allegation. It's a very serious crime, and it's a very serious thing to be accused of. And we know that we've had people who have lied There are many, 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 many cases that are well documented where people have lied. And we also know that our justice system is built on the idea of guilty until proven innocent. Innocent until proven guilty. See, look at me. I got it backwards. That's so horrible. I hope that wasn't a Freudian slip. But we know that it's innocent until proven guilty. And so the principle of the justice system is one where they say that because these allegations are so serious, because the punishment is so serious, we're not going to, we would rather let a guilty man go free than send an innocent person to prison, right? And so anyway, what I want to do is I want to ask, okay, I see some people saying, Sly says he's at the barbershop tuning in. Addie says, I hear you great. Well, I love you, Addie. And Sly, I love you too, brother. Thank you for tuning in at the barbershop. I know the barbershop is like some serious business. So, when a brother takes time from the barbershop, that's just respect right there. I don't have to worry about the barbershop because I ain't got no hair. I don't know nothing about hair. My daughter loves hair, though. My daughter is actually like a hair weave ninja. She knows how to do anything. She could take a mop and put it on your head and make you look like Beyonce. That's how good my daughter is. My daughter is, if I was a woman, she inherits whatever I would be able to do as a woman with somebody's head. I love my daughter. So proud of her. Anyway, let's go back to, let's just be serious here. I know I didn't mean to make a joke out of a serious topic. But sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying because we know that our justice system is built on the idea of innocent until proven guilty. We know that the allegations, sexual assault are very, very serious. We also know that raping somebody is very, very serious, and you have to protect victims. We also know that there have been many cases where people have gotten away with rape, but we also know that there are many cases where people have lied about rape. We also know, these are the things we know, and I'm laying out just some facts here. We also know that when a person lies and accuses somebody of rape, there is practically no consequence, no legal consequence for the fact that you might have sent somebody to prison. There's no serious legal consequence. I mean, if somebody just says, "Oh, well, I'm mad at you. You raped me. And I've seen that. I've seen proven cases, 2 proven cases I know of people I know, where they were just falsely accused because somebody got mad. A woman just got mad because he wasn't calling back or whatever, and just decided to make whatever allegation. And what happens is, unfortunately, you have situations where people take advantage of a skewed political environment. They say, well, you know what? We getting free rape charges out here. We got rape charges at no cost, right? We can accuse anybody of rape. It becomes an environment that is similar to what they used to call McCarthyism. All my folks in here that went to college and stuff, y'all probably have heard the term McCarthyism. If you remember, McCarthyism was when you had everybody everybody worried about everybody being a communist. So everybody was accusing everybody of being a communist because that was the best way to put the spotlight on your enemies and get them taken down. If you got mad at somebody, I think he's a communist. You call the FBI, I think he's a communist, right? And there was no penalty for falsely accusing somebody of being a communist. Well, I would say that in America, you have a McCarthyist environment when it comes to rape allegations that often leads to people lying their way into destroying somebody's life. Not all the time, not most of the time. I don't know what percentage of the time this occurs. There are studies out there that talk about this, so I encourage you to look at the studies. Don't just take my word for things. We also know that the criminal justice system has been proven beyond any doubt. It's been proven beyond any reasonable doubt to be biased when it comes to the incarceration of black men. We know that for a black man, just being accused of a crime in the eyes of many Americans is the same as actually having committed the crime. We know this. This is proven. This is not up for debate or dispute. If you're here to defend the sanctity of the legal system, you need to get the fuck out of here because you're a liar. You're lying. That's not true. We know that's not true. So in this scenario, we have to take everything we know, all these pillars of truth about the American political environment and the American social experience, and you have to use those pillars to kind of analyze the cases like this. Whether you're talking about Nate Parker, you're talking about the Bill Cosby thing, or you're talking about people that that had cases that were a little fuzzier or whatever. You're talking to a person who got a lot of hatred from black people. I got a lot of hatred from black folks because I said, I actually believe Bill Cosby probably did something. That's where I get in trouble. It's like in politics, you typically win if you join a gang. You know, meaning that you either join the liberals or you join the conservatives, you join the white gang or the black gang. If you join the gang of truth, you're not going to win. You're going to get attacked by everybody. You know, so it's like being in a neighborhood with Crips and Bloods, and you decide you don't want to be a Crip or a Blood, and the Crips and the Bloods both try to come kill you. So what I basically said is that I believe Bill Cosby did those things. I think Bill Cosby's behavior was repulsive. I think he cheated on his wife a lot of times, but didn't just cheat on her. I do believe that Bill Cosby was a person who probably committed a crime. However, and this is where I become what seems to be schizophrenic. Again, this is just the professor in me. This is what I do. I'm here for critical thinkers. I'm not here for people who join bandwagons. You know, at the same time, I said, you got something called the statute of limitations. You guys, I mean, you can't sit here and say, well, you know, yeah, it happened to me and it happened 10 times and I let him pay my tuition, and when he stopped paying, that's when I went to the cops and I didn't say nothing because I was scared, but yet I kept going to see him every Christmas and every birthday, and I'd ask him to send me money and da da da. Well, what the hell are we supposed to do with that? Well, I mean, seriously, but here's the thing. I mean, nobody can do anything with that information at that point. You ruined your own case. If something bad happens to me and I don't say anything, for whatever reason, maybe I'm intimidated, maybe the person's paying my bills, maybe I just want to be cool with them, or maybe I'm just going to get mad later on, or maybe I told somebody they didn't. I mean, if I didn't report it, and I didn't get like the rape kit and everything else done, then I don't know how many legs I have to stand on in this justice system. The justice system is not supposed to be built on vigilanteism. It's supposed to be built on truth. It's not, but it's supposed to be. But here's what happens when you're black. Here's what happens when you are black. Jerice says, I need a radio show. I already got one. This is my radio show. I got 145,000 subscribers on Twitter, girl. You got to get on out of here with that. I'm messing with you. I'm playing. But no, in my mind, this is my radio show. I've been offered radio shows, and I told them no, because I said, why would I want to go on your network and work for your corporation when I can reach 5 million black people a week by myself with the team I have? And it's going to be more because we've now got Boyce Watkins Films. So we're really going to start doing big things. What we've done so far is tiny compared to what we're going to do in the future. I guarantee you that much. But let's get back to it. And I'm not bragging about it. I'm not bragging about what I'm going to do. I'm bragging about what we're doing as a community because we're fighting for ourselves. We're standing up for ourselves. We're becoming sovereign. We're not going and begging white folks to take care of us. We're not begging Viacom to take care of us. We're not begging Time Warner to take care of us. We're not begging Radio One or all these other networks to take care of us. We're going to do it ourselves because we can. We're going to do it ourselves because we can figure this out. Period. Moving back. So with Cosby, my conclusion was that I feel like Cosby is guilty. I don't like Cosby. Never liked him. Didn't even like him back when he did the pound cake speech. I liked him for giving money to Spelman and Morehouse. I like what he did with A Different World and The Cosby Show and Fat Albert. But I did not like him for his elitism. I didn't like when he said in 2004 that a black man who gets shot over pound cake is bad. He deserves to get shot because he stole the pound cake. Back then, I was like, what are y'all doing? Like, why are y'all, I mean, people were hard on him at that time because they were mad. I was like, that's good. Y'all should be mad, but you can't forget about the good things he did. But then everybody's like suddenly defending Cosby because they're like, we're going to defend the black man against the system. And so I'm schizophrenic. I appear to be schizophrenic because I look at all different angles of an issue. But the black community is pretty schizophrenic. Because they went from loving Cosby to hating Cosby to loving Cosby again. And I just thought it was kind of weird. I think that you can love and hate somebody at the same time. I think you can say, I love this thing you did, but I hated that thing you did. But again, as a professor, that's what you do. You grade assignments. Students turn in their work. You say, you got an A on this, but you got a D on that. I don't hate you, but I'm going to give you a big old F because you messed up. You're a smart student, but you did horrible work. So I think that kind of analysis is okay. But unfortunately, we don't live in a world that allows for this old-fashioned thing called common sense. We don't live in that world. We live in a world where everything has to be fucking black and white, and it drives me insane. I hate that. I hate listening to liberals talk because liberals love to bully and ridicule anybody who disagrees with them, and I think it's stupid. I don't like conservatives because conservatives live with blinders on where they don't realize that America is no longer a white man's world. America is no longer a white man's country where you can just sort of make the world into what you believe it to be and sort of live in this fantasy world where you don't believe things like police brutality exists. I don't like that. I hate that. So long story short, I feel like that's what happens when we talk about these issues with sexual assault. I saw a really good article. And I'm going to see actually if I can find it real quick. I'm going to actually try to Google this. It was a real good article by a liberal, actually, who was talking about the way America views sexual assault. And I like this guy's article because he was a thinker. He wasn't just somebody, he wasn't a bandwagon guy. And actually, while I look that up, do me a favor while I look that up, hit the share button on your social media. Share it to your page because I want other people in this conversation. Let me see here. And what he said, I'm going to see if I can find it because I want you guys to read it because I'm a big believer in just information. I'm a big believer in people getting information to support their point. This was in Slate. Slate is a liberal publication. Cathy Young wrote an article. I think Cathy Young's a liberal. And here's what the article says. The article is titled Crying Rape. Crying Rape, and the subtitle is False Rape Accusations Exist, and They Are a Serious Problem. And it's funny because I remember when my good friend, my homie, Mark Lamar Hill, decided to lead a lynch mob to attack me because I wrote an article to black men warning them about sleeping around because you got people out here that will falsely accuse you of rape. Now, I don't know if that's what happened to Nate Parker. I don't know. But I know that Nate Parker was in college. He was on the wrestling team, messing with these white girls. And I'm sorry, if he was my son, I would have to just tell him, look, man, number one, don't be running around slinging your penis at every girl that'll take it because that'll get you in trouble. Because all she got to do is make an accusation and you're done. You're done. And number two, I'd say, don't you know that you're black? You're doing this with white girls? Really, dude? Seriously? Do you understand how dangerous that is? Now, I'm not sitting there trying to say that black men can't sleep with white women. I don't care if you love who you love, but you live in America. You live in America. You have so many cases where the little white girl sleeps with the big buck black dude that she's been fantasizing about. Because, black men, we are superior. Look at it. Look at those guns. I mean, that's, and I'm a regular black man. I'm not even like a super athletic guy, but black men, we have something about us. We have a macho style. We have a swag. We have something about us that makes everybody want us. So I don't blame the white women for fantasizing about it. I've had white women try to approach me, but I've never messed with that. Because I don't trust what's going to happen when you try to bring me home to daddy. I learned that when I was 15 years old. When I was 15 years old, there was one time where I liked a white girl. Her name was, I can't remember the girl's name. I liked her, though. She was cool. She was on the track team with me. I was captain of the track team. See, there you go, that black male masculinity. We're just the shit. I mean, seriously. Like, I mean, tell me if you don't. I mean, that's why you got these sisters that are like so mad at black men, but they can't walk away from them because black men are so amazing. We're literally one of the most unique things on the planet, and black women are equally beautiful. That's why I don't understand y'all brothers who walk away from black women. I don't. I mean, to me, once I went black, I couldn't go nowhere else. Anyway, moving back to this, I started talking to this white girl, right? And I'm digging her. She was cute. It was my first, almost kind of like my first sort of girlfriend. I didn't have a lot of girlfriends in high school. I had a girlfriend when I got my first real girlfriend when I was 17, and she got pregnant. And so that's where my daughter came from, in case y'all wondering. So I apparently I'm glad I didn't have more girlfriends when I was younger. Who knows? Maybe I'd have more kids. But anyway. So this girl, I was about maybe 10th grade, and I remember giving her a kiss under the bleachers. And you know how it is, you get your first kiss. Like, you just, like you're on cloud nine, like all day. Like, you just, like your brain is just like on some kind of crazy high. And so, anyway, I liked the girl, and I would call her. I call her, and check this out. She and I actually went to see the movie School Days. With the Spike Lee movie, we saw School Days together. And so she was kind of a down type of white chick, you know. And I wasn't as racially sensitive at that time as I am now. I mean, back then, in fact, I remember arguing with my parents and saying, people like you keep racism alive because you can't realize that everybody's equal now. I remember saying dumb stuff like that when I was 15. I didn't grow up in a assalamu alaikum kind of household. I grew up in a different kind of space. My parents, in fact, I don't even know if my parents get half of what I talk about. So anyway, in fact, there's nothing that wakes you up to racism more than when you have to work with white people and you get treated like shit for a while and you start to figure things out. That's what happens to a lot of people I know. So, and I was one of those people. So anyway, so I would call this white girl and I would call her, I would call her like every day after school. And we would pass notes at school. You ever have times where you pass notes? So I would come out of my class and she would come out of hers. We walk past each other and we hand each other a note. And I remember that was like the best part of my day. And then one day she just stopped passing notes to me. She stopped speaking to me. And I remember I called the house, and every time I called the house, her mother would tell me that she wasn't around, that she wasn't available. And finally, I got a chance to talk to her because, I was hurt. It hurt my feelings so bad. I felt so bad. And I remember I asked her, I said, so, what's going on? And I didn't even think that it was a race issue. Again, I was 15, 16. I knew racism was there, but it wasn't really, in my face like that. And then finally she admitted that her father, this white man that I had seen in my track meets, who used to like shake my hand and say, "Oh, you're so fast," and I think, and you're so good, and your feet were just moving so fast. Like he really liked me as an athlete. But when it came to me dating his daughter, it was like, no, nigga, you got to go, right? So think on this too. Imagine if I had hurt his daughter's feelings somehow. If I had dated her for a while and then I just disrespected her, or I started dating another girl, or his daughter, God forbid, came home and was so ashamed that we slept together and said, "Oh, well, Daddy, he raped me. That's why I slept with him." It happened. It's happened before. And then sometimes it doesn't even have to be a racial thing. There is evidence. You go look it up. Don't just listen to me. Go look it up. There is evidence that that's what happened to Mike Tyson. When Mike Tyson went to prison, now mind you, Mike, there's probably a lot of stuff Mike did that he should have gone to prison for, and Mike will even say that. But in the Desiree Washington case, even believe it or not, Fox News was actually the ones who did the investigation. Ironically enough, Greta Van Susteren on Fox did an investigation, and basically Desiree Washington's ex-boyfriend, who was a white boy, said, when I heard that he was accused of rape, I tried to get in touch with them because she did the same thing to me. When we had sex, she was so ashamed that she told her father that I raped her. And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said he got so scared he left her alone. He never talked to her. And the jurors in Mike Tyson's case, two little fat white people from Indiana, I'm talking about as hillbilly as they come. Like, they ain't trying to save no black people nowhere. Two fat white people from Indiana both said if we had heard his testimony, we wouldn't have voted for a conviction. So this is the reality for black men. And so as a black man who cares about black men, my goal is to warn them that there are people that will take advantage of your sexual vulnerability. There are people that if they know that you're going to go and get naked with any girl who asks for it, there are people, I've heard of guys who get robbed that way. I've heard of guys who get extorted that way, athletes and entertainers. I've heard of a lot of bad things happening. And I remember I wrote an article about that, and I was warning brothers to be careful. And I didn't understand why anybody would have a problem with me telling black men to keep their dick in their pants. Don't get me wrong. You should use your dick at some point. You're supposed to. That's the way nature designed things. But the idea that people would get mad about that didn't make any sense to me. It's almost like they want you to make yourself vulnerable so they can destroy you. It's just like Malcolm X said that the white man will sell you the liquor bottle, ask you to drink it, so he can lock you up for being drunk. That's what they're doing to you as black men, and that's what black men need to understand. That's why I refuse to back down with Mark and some of these brothers. These brothers, I guess they call themselves feminists, which I think is weird. I don't think any black man should be a feminist. I think you should believe in equal rights for women. You could be a womanist maybe and say, okay, yeah, absolutely. Everybody should be respected. Black women should be put on a pedestal. Black women are amazing. They're, when they behave like queens, they should be treated like queens. But the idea of a black man becoming a feminist is really some political bullshit. That's you trying to impress white folks by grabbing onto their agenda and making it into your own. I don't believe that feminism has any real place for black women. And here's what happens too. And this is what's going on with Nate Parker. Right now there's an article by a woman named Roxane Gay in the New York Times. In the New York Times, Roxane Gay writes an article where she's basically saying, calling Nate Parker a rapist, saying she has no empathy for him because he did this and did that. When this man was acquitted, he was accused. You're treating an accused black man like he's guilty. Why? Well, because you are a black feminist who's being positioned to promote the white agenda and put a black face on it. You ain't nothing but a damn Muppet. That's what you are. You are a black Muppet. They are literally, they got the puppet arm up your ass, and they got you talking because they're like, okay, we need a black person to say this because we want to say it because we want to hang this nigga, but we're gonna get a black woman to do it because that's what we can do. We pay her a little bit of money, make her feel like she's somebody because she's writing for the New York Times, by God, and get her to go out and do a hit on a black man who's trying to do something. That's pretty much what's going on. That's pretty. I mean, but that's a consistent strategy. That's exactly what. But sometimes it's not even so much a racial thing. Sometimes it's just straight political, where you've got outspoken black people who are positioned, who are propped up Negroes, who are propped up by white media outlets to take out any black person who maybe is outspoken or whatever. Melissa Harris Perry was positioned to do that to Cornel West. And unfortunately, Michael Eric Dyson allowed himself to be positioned to do the same thing. That basically when Cornel West started going hard at Obama, started talking about poverty and everything else and whatever. And I'm not telling you what side to choose in there. I'm not saying you have to choose one or the other. In fact, I don't believe you have to choose. I think you can love them both. But when Cornel West was going hard on poverty, saying, okay, we need to talk about poverty, talk about racism, talk about mass incarceration, all these issues that we all agree are important, they didn't have anybody from the Obama administration respond to Cornel because they were like, if we respond to him, then that's going to give him power. So what they did was they went and got their little propped up Negroes. They got Melissa Harris Perry. They said, we're going to give you access to a big liberal publication, and we want you to take this nigga out. We want you to destroy this nigga. It's a lot like those fights they used to have. It was in Hidden Colors 4. I can't remember what it's called. Y'all can remind me. Tariq brought this up, where he was talking about how they would find black boys in poverty and pay them money to go into a ring and knock each other out, to just beat the hell out of each other until some of the kids actually died. Like beat the kid until he passes out. That's what they do. That's how racist white supremacist people exploit impoverished black people, or black people just looking for an opportunity, because your self-esteem is so low that you're looking for any opportunity that the white man will give you to feel like you are somebody. So you feel like you're important because you got to write an article in the New York Times when the fact was that they were propping you up and positioning you to go do an assault on another black person. I'm not dissing her for writing for the New York Times. I'm just saying, what's the motivation here? Do you think that if it was a white issue, that your black ass would be writing in the New York Times last Sunday? No, you wouldn't be. You wouldn't be. They needed a black face to take him out because they didn't want to make it about race. But it's all about race. When they try to not make it about race, it's usually about race. Before we move on, if you haven't shared this to your social media, if you could share it, I would really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't signed up to get a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, you could do so at drboycewatkins.net. If somebody could type that in so other people can see the URL, drboycewatkins.net, not .com.net, I would appreciate that. Also, in case you don't know, we're having the All Black National Convention in Atlanta the weekend of September 16th. The All Black National Convention, the weekend of September 16th. This is when, the reason it's called the All Black National Convention is because we need a convention where everything's black, where it's all black everything, where it's black people, black issues, black stuff, black films. We're going to show Hidden Colors 4. We're going to show Resurrecting Black Wall Street. We're going to show Generation 1. We're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about incarceration. We're going to talk about the wealth gap. We're going to talk about all the issues that affect us, because I really have no interest whatsoever. I have no interest at all. Somebody was laughing. Somebody was saying, Boyce Watkins turned up today. No, I'm always turned up. And when something like this bothers me, I just kind of go with my feelings on it, and I'm not holding nothing back. But the thing is that I don't like riding in the back seat of the white man's car. And I guess that's what you do if you don't feel like you have the ability to build your own car. But I want black people to have the confidence to know that we can build our own car and we can drive that damn thing. And even if it's a jalopy, even if it's a piece of crap, even if you're driving a hoopty, it's okay. You drive your hoopty and you be proud of your hoopty. And you tell that man with the Cadillac that wants you to ride the back seat that he can take his car and he can go somewhere else. He can go pick up his own friends. You don't need a ride. That's what I want for black people, period. So the All Black National Convention is our effort to create something that is all black, that's all ours. We have a whole lot of people confirmed that are coming out. Killer Mike, the hip-hop artist and activist, he just confirmed with me. David Banner, I'm trying to talk him into coming out. I think he's going to come through because he's in Atlanta. His assistant, anyway, said that he wanted to meet me. I want to meet David, too, because I respect him. Who else? Malik Zulu, Shabazz, Zaza Ali, Yvette Carnell, Nomalanga Mashali Moses, Dr. Roosevelt Mitchell III, Yarima Karama, Judge Olu Stevens. A lot of people that you've seen around here, a lot of people that you've seen doing interesting things. I want them to come to this space so they can feel like they have a home, so they can feel like they are empowered, that they have black people who love them and support them. And it's very important. The reason that book I'm giving to you is called The New Paradigm for Black America is because we need a new way of thinking. A new way of thinking that says, I'm not choosing option A, I'm not choosing option B, I'm going to go carve out option C. So one of our panels is actually the lesser of two evils. That's what it's called, because the question is, how should we frame this political hijacking that occurs, or what I call voter jacking? That's the term I call it, voter jacking, that happens in every election, where the Democrats pretty much tell you who you need to vote for because they know your black ass is scared to death of the Republicans. That's what they do. They pretty much, they never convince you to vote for them because they're the best candidate. They convince you to vote for them because they're like, look, nigga, what choice do you have? You have no choice but to have a pimp because you can't take care of yourself. You know it and I know it, so you need to go ahead and vote for me. I'm not a fan of that. Anyway, so going back to Nate Parker, here's the thing about Nate that has to be understood. In the case of Nate Parker, what you're really seeing is a situation where people are trying to politically undermine his film by taking what is actually an accusation and turning it into a conviction. He was not only accused of a crime, but he went into a racist criminal justice system and was acquitted. And I believe the woman was white. I couldn't find a picture of the woman. I want y'all to tell me if she's white. I believe she was white. I think a couple people told me she was white. So he was accused of a white woman. He went on trial, went through the hell of the trial. The trial is like a black man going on trial in America is like a cancer patient going through chemotherapy and living. You're not going to be the same. The chemo will probably kill you faster than the cancer will. So the criminal justice system will destroy you faster than the damn allegation. That's why, as law-abiding as I am, I don't want to talk to cops. I don't like to talk to cops. I don't want to be around cops, because if I have one bad conversation with a crooked cop, that will be enough to destroy my life and put me in all kinds of scenarios where there are potential trails of outcomes and possibilities that can lead me into places I can never imagine being. You know, I'm sitting there, I'm talking to the cop, we disagree on something, he says something to me, I get smart, next thing you know, he runs up on me and does something physical to me, I fight back, and so I got a charge for assaulting a police officer, I'm in handcuffs, I go to jail, I'm thrown in a cell with rapists, murderers, and child molesters, I get confronted by some big guy named Bobo who wants to have sex with me that night, I fight back with Bobo, and Bobo gets stabbed, next thing you know, I'm being charged with killing somebody while I'm in jail, and then next thing you know, I'm in prison for the next 10 years. That's kind of, I've seen things like that happen. So that's why for a black man, interacting on any level with the criminal justice system is usually going to lead to a situation where you're going to lose. Black men, I think black men, I heard a young brother say to me that when he sees police, he was 21, and he said, when I see police, I run. And I said, well, if you didn't do anything, why would you run? He said, because they will lie to you, they will plant things on you, they'll take you to jail for no reason. I just run. And you know what? I really couldn't tell him to do any different. I really didn't know what to say. I couldn't say, well, you know, I'm the son of a cop, and there are some good cops out there. Yeah, there might be, but there are a lot of bad cops out there, and the bad cops kind of ruin everything for the good ones. And that's the issue that black men are facing in this country. So Nate Parker, accused of sexually assaulting a white woman, goes on trial. It probably disrupted his life, probably cost him a lot of money. He probably might have had to drop out of school and, you know, all kinds of stuff. I don't know if he even went to jail. Wins the case, comes out of that hellhole, and he's supposed to be free. You're exonerated. Okay, boy, you're free to go. They wait 17 years to pull this up, and then they pull up the fact that his accuser, God rest her soul, that his accuser, that she died, and they're saying that she killed herself, and I'm not, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she killed herself. I know drugs. It seemed like drugs were involved. Let me see here. I want to see. Somebody tell me. Okay, it says that that she did commit suicide, and it's weird. It's almost like, and y'all can tell me what you think about this, but it's almost like they're saying, like they're acting like it's his fault, like that he did it. Now, if Nate showed up at the ladies, rehab clinic and killed her in the middle of the night, then damn it, Nate needs to go to jail. If Nate is the one if Nate put drugs in her food or in her drink so that she ended up dying from the drug overdose because Nate gave her the drugs or put the drugs in her, made her take the drugs or whatever, then yeah. But I don't really see where Nate, why that would even be connected, except for the fact that he's black. Right, and it's funny. It's like you go down these twists of weird logic where the laws of social physics suddenly start to get real weird, and you say, okay, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. But then you reel back and you say, oh, well, that's right, because he's a nigger. So now it all kind of comes back together. Here's what happens with the criminal justice system. Excuse me, guys. I gotta drink some coffee. By the way, while I'm drinking the coffee, go ahead. Please share this to your social media if you can. Now, what I'm looking at here is there was a report that she committed suicide 4 years ago. It was in Hollywood Reporter. And someone says that she was tormented. They don't say why she was tormented. They said she's dead, and I'm not sure the details of her death. Let's see here. Her name, age, and physical location, other details, matched the person who was assaulted. She was 30 years old, which is sad. It's sad to see somebody die. They said that she tried to repeatedly commit suicide in the weeks and months following the accusation. According to an interview with the woman's brother, the woman, she overdosed on sleeping pills. She became detached from reality. The progression was very quick, and she took her own life. He says that she was tormented, or one of the sexual assault counselors. Okay. All right. Now, again, I think that what happened to her is really sad. But again, I'm just sitting here trying to understand, why could it not be the case that she was tormented before the allegations occurred? I mean, why is it not equally possible that perhaps she made an allegation because she was a tormented person? Again, I don't know. I don't know this woman. I can't say one way or the other, but I can definitely say that, all these leaps in feminist logic are a little bit weird to me. And I think that women's equality makes perfect sense, but I think extreme feminism is very detrimental and harmful. I think that black men kind of get thrown under the bus with white feminism. You go to these white feminist enclaves like Huffington Post, where they're running this major media outlet. They took a picture of their whole editorial team. They didn't have one black man in the room. And I guarantee you that if they brought a black man in the room, it would be a guy like Mark Lamont Hill, who proclaims himself to be a feminist. When last I checked, Mark didn't have a vagina, but I've never checked. So maybe I don't know. I've never checked. But I assume he does not. He told me he's a dude. He told me he's a man. So why, I don't understand why a black man becomes a feminist. Instead, there are plenty of things you could become for your community. There are plenty of things you can become as a black man first before you become a feminist. It's like if a white woman says, I want to be a Black Panther. Or I want to be a black male, a male Black Panther, or whatever. Or I want to be a male member of the Nation of Islam. I'm going to look at her and say, what's wrong with you? Like, that's weird. Like, why don't you do something that white women do first? Do that first. Defend your own first. Then you can come over here and help us after you're done taking care of every issue in your own community. But that's what black people will do. We will, and I'm not dissing Mark. Just to be honest with you, I consider Mark to be a friend, but we don't agree, but I consider him to be a friend. But I don't understand why you have so many black people that are so anxious to get interconnected into the freeway of white opportunity that we will literally take an issue that has nothing to do with us and embrace it as our own. Black people on immigration. Yvette Carnell, a person who I've disagreed with a lot, and I love Yvette too, just like I love Mark. Yvette Carnell has pretty much said that black people have no interest or incentive to support illegal immigration. That everything that the Democrats are telling you about the whole fight on illegal immigration, that's detrimental to you. That's why you ain't got no jobs. You know, I mean, really, seriously. Undocumented people are taking a lot of the jobs that black people used to have. And when I go around Chicago and I see Latino people that have taken all the jobs that black people used to have, I don't really see them getting up in arms and saying, no, 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 no. We want black people to get opportunities. We don't want black people to be left behind. So, you know, so what I'll say is that, you know, really what you're seeing here is with Nate is you're seeing a situation where with a brother who I think didn't make the best decisions when he was young. He doesn't make decisions I would make. His wife, you know, even now his wife is white. Honestly, if I'm talking to him brother to brother, I would say, man, I mean, I thought you learned your lesson about them white girls. But athletes, Nate was an athlete. He was on the wrestling team. And, you know, and apparently there's something weird between athletes and white girls. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if white girls do something really spectacular for them in the bedroom that makes them just think white girls are amazing. I don't know what that is. I don't want to find out. But there's something weird about athletes and white girls. Maybe the white girls treat them different because they grow up wanting the athlete, or maybe the athletes somehow feel that being around the white girls somehow gives them some sort of legitimacy, or maybe you've conquered something, like I conquered the white man's woman and blah, blah, whatever. I don't know. I've never understood it. I mean, anybody who's really, again, I'm going to be TMI here. I need y'all to forgive me for this, because I'm not gonna sound like a professor. I'm a man. I'm a black man. I was a man. I was a human at first, and then I was a black man second, and then I became a professor after that. So here's the thing: when it comes to black women, I like black women that have curves. I think curves are an amazing thing, and I think black women have curves on average, not all the time. You can't stereotype, that are better than anyone else. You can't go to, I've been to China. Saw beautiful women in China, but the beautiful women in China, they had bodies of like 12-year-old boys. They were all real skinny. I don't like that, right? White women, you can show me the most gorgeous white woman in all of Hollywood, and there's nothing it does nothing for me. It's like looking at a brick or something. Like, there's nothing that makes me say, ooh, I would like that. A solid black woman, a sexy black woman, is like it's like putting your coffee in the microwave and it just starts bubbling over. It's an amazing and an extraordinary thing. It's kissed by God. If you took the most beautiful black women in the world and lined them up next to the most beautiful women of any other ethnicity, black women will usually win that contest all the time. I give credit to Latino women as well. Latino women are beautiful too. So wait, scratch that. I did date one Latino woman. And I did not know she was Latino, actually, because she was an AKA and she didn't have an accent. But later on I found out she was from Panama. But that's okay, because Latino people, in case y'all don't know, like, y'all are just as black as we are. You're probably more black than us. There's actually a video on blackallegiance.net that they put out where they were explaining the fact that more African slaves went to South America than to North America. So whether y'all believe that you're connected to us, whether you want to look down on us, whether you want to act like we ain't got nothing to do with y'all, the fact is we all kind of come from the same place. And I'm talking about recent history. Now, of course, we know everybody comes from Africa, but some people more than others. Y'all pretty much like us. So anyway, Shanice says chill out. And why were you saying chill out? Why should you chill out? There's nothing to chill out about. I'm just being honest here. So anyway, I hope that didn't make anybody feel self-conscious, because I know not every black woman can look like, like a Beyonce or whatever. But I would just say that I think black women, I don't understand a few things about the way black women are treated. I don't feel that in the black leadership, I don't think they get the voice and the respect they deserve. We lose because we don't give voices to women. That's why I deliberately picked some women or supported some women that wanted to get on my YouTube channel, because I feel like we need to listen to women. We really need to listen to women. Also, I feel that some of the sexism I've seen in the conscious community really bothers me. I really don't. And this is where I have very close friends that I kind of have to part ways with. I don't like terms like bed wench in reference to any black woman who disagrees with you. I think that you can express your disagreement in a way that is still respectful, that allows her to have the voice but doesn't mute your voice. The problem for black men is that when people don't agree with us, they tend to just sort of kill our voice. They tend to just sort of, try to neuter us. They try to neuter us, because I think that there's something about black male masculinity that is so threatening to people that they either try to exterminate us or castrate us, whether it's physically. They used to do it physically, but now they do it socially, politically, and economically. And I would just say that for black men, don't let that happen to you. If you have a black son, put your son around a black man. Hopefully it's his father. If it's not his father, then find somebody that can take on that role. And if you pick a father for your son, I tell my daughters, every date is a potential mate. So when you pick a man that you decide to let have access to your body, I don't care how much swag he's got. If he's a loser and he doesn't seem like somebody's going to be a good dad, don't do that. If he has other kids with other women, he's not taking care of those kids. Don't you let that man have access to your body. It's your decision, your choice. You are empowered in that situation. You can't be empowered when it's time to make the decision, but become a victim when the consequences roll around. That doesn't make sense to me. That means you're picking and choosing when you want to be empowered and when you want to be an innocent victim. Well, I say you choose one or the other. And I believe in empowerment. So my daughter, that's what I tell my girls, period. So anyway, moving back, so when you talk about Nate Parker, I'm going to go see his movie. I'm going to support it. I think that, somebody's saying Bedwitch is a female version of a coon. I think we can just call them coons. If you want to diss Stacey Dash, call her a coon. It's funny. I just talked to Damon Dash a few minutes ago. Damon and I have a movie coming out next month called Too Honorable. Kanye West is the other executive producer, and there's music. The music in the film is very, very good. The imagery of the film is very, very good. It's kind of a gangster flick. Boyce Watkins Films, we're going to put out a lot of different kinds of movies. So this is more of a gangster type flick. But we also have political films coming out, like Disintegration's coming out this fall. Anthony Harris is the director on that. We're supporting, I'm an executive producer on The Melanin Code, which is going to be done by Marcus Small. That's going to be extremely good. We have Yvette Carnell. Yvette Carnell starring in the film that's coming out. We don't even have a title for that yet. But we made Resurrecting Black Wall Street. So by the end of this year, we will put out 6 movies. I actually have The Secrets to Black Economic Intelligence that's coming out as well in the fall. So we have 6 movies coming out this year. Next year, we're going to try to put out 15 to 20 films. And also we're working on Steel Justice out in Hollywood, which is the one that we're actually trying to work with a big studio on to try to see if we can work with them on broader distribution. But really what I ultimately want to do is I want us to be able to distribute our films without any help from anybody else. Like I think that black people have to get beyond this idea that we are somehow economically handicapped. When it comes to our own empowerment, we really readily ride the little bus. We truly believe that all the other things other people do, we're not capable of doing those things. I reject that entirely. You may not be capable of doing those things right now, but what you must learn is the value of incremental progress. That if you just start moving forward in that direction, you may not figure it all out before you're done. Your child may not figure it all out before they're done, but your grandchild will have the breakthrough that will get you what you want.